if you look at the way we know, you could call this an epistemological problem, you'll find that there are these 4 different kinds of relationship. And if you look at the kinds of action we can make, you'll find there are 4 different kinds of action. Similarly, 4 different kinds of state. And from those you can generate all the measure formula used by physics to deal with moving bodies. And that sews up physics and calculus together. So you've already got quite far along in math and physics. And then you're poised for launching into carrying this into psychology and so on.
Could you continue? Could you carry it into psychology?
Well, I'd have to do the step-by-step from the book. You begin with position, for instance. The car is at rest. Well, what do you do with the car? You have a velocity which enables you to change position. But in order to change the velocity, you have to have acceleration. You have the foot pedal and the brakes which enable you to change the velocity. Above and beyond that, you have what I call the third derivative, because it comes after the second.
The second derivative being acceleration.
Being acceleration, which is the control of acceleration. In other words, you can change the acceleration, and this is what you do when you push the throttle or put your foot on the brake or steer it. So with those 4 things, position, velocity, acceleration, and control, you have all you need to drive the car. Now, the way those things are known leads you right into psychology. You know position through sensation. You don't know velocity through sensation. You have to compute the velocity. You're flying at 600 miles an hour in an airliner, but you have no way of knowing it unless you look out and spot some city, and then a few minutes or an hour later spot another city, and then look at how much time has elapsed during that and say, well, we went from Chicago to New York in an hour, must be 600 miles an hour. So velocity is done by computing, that is to say, intellect, not sensation. Acceleration, well, if you follow the mathematics books, you have to make a second derivative. That's all right, but there's a simpler way. You feel acceleration. In fact, it's the only instinctual feeling that the child has, according to Watson's behaviorist. Fear of falling is innate. So that's already 3 of what Jung calls functions: sensation, intellect, and emotion or feeling, which is evaluative. The 4th one, intuition, doesn't relate directly to control, but it has to do with what you determine your target to be, which is an internal thing, and hence related to the intuition. You can think of intuition as aiming at a goal. But it ramifies out much more fully. You talk about, you don't want to say anything difficult.
Go on, say something difficult.
Well, I'm trying to say that isn't difficult.